Hey y'all, welcome to Haga's Hobbies, and this video I am going to teach you how you can make scrap style 2x4 into a project and for perfect time, which is right now for Christmas. So you can I will give you the measurements here in a minute. Find any scrap lumber that's within 2 foot and 12 inches is what you're going to need for this project. So let's get started, and so you can make a perfect Christmas gift. What you're going to need is you're going to need to grab 5 pieces. You're going to need 5 pieces at 12 inches. Which, with me, you can use this as a 2x4, or you can rip the 2x4 in half, and so you're going to only need 3 pieces at 12 inches. Then you're going to need 1 piece at 14 inches. So you're going to need 1 at 12 inches, 1 at 14 inches, and then 1 at 21 inches. So, in this, I'm going to show you how you can put this together, your measurements, how I set this together. So you can go from pieces, pieces that you're going to need. And I said I ripped these in half, so these are 1.5 by 1.5 pieces, into making something like this or something like this. Those are 2 of these trees put together plus a 1x6, actually 2 1x6s spaced apart, and I'm going to use chalkboard paint to put on the face right here, and then you can write whatever you want on these 2 things. Get together and let's get doing this project. Alright, so with that, I got a piece here that I'm going to use, that's scrap lumber that I'm going to use to start my 12-inch pieces. You're going to need 5 in total. So if you're doing them the way I'm doing it, you're going to need just 3 pieces at 12 inches. If not, you're going to need 5 pieces, which would be the 2x4 size, at 12 inches, 5 pieces of them. Then you're going to need 1 at 14 inches, and then you're going to need 1 at 21 inches. And then you're going to need 1 full 2x4 at 12 inches also for your base. Yours is going to be, this side is your 14 inch. Here's you got a 12, you got a 12, and a 12. And so you got 3 12s here and 2 12s here. And then you got a 14, and then down here is your 21. And then here you're going to need an extra 12. So technically you need 6 pieces at 12 inches. But if you're doing it my way, keep 1 whole, and then rip 3 of them at 1.5 inches. Well, let's cut this at 12 inches to get our base. So measure out your 12 inches, make a mark, and then you're going to line that up. And then you're going to keep doing that until you have enough pieces. Right there, that's only 2 of them, but that'll be your base and 2 of your 12-inch pieces. I already have a 14 here, so I can rip this in half, and I will have my 1 14-inch piece. And here's my 21. All right. So, and when you're doing this, you can, like I'm doing it, organize your lumber so you know which ones are where, which is where. There's my 12s, there's my 14s. And then I'm going to make a stack for my 21s, which I'm going to measure this one, see what this one's cut at. And that's a 21. So I already have a 21 here. So that's that. Let's cut the rest of our 12s, and we'll get to it. I'm going to set also one of the 12s off to the side so I know it's my base. So let's get the rest of these and come down. And what you can do is you can lay your board on top of the other one, which will get you, and just mark it on both sides of your board if it's long enough. Then you don't have to worry about about measuring out or whatever every single time. You can take your board, place it on one end of your board, which you got to make sure they're square. So I'm going to make sure this side is square because it doesn't look like it. And then go from there. Make sure all your sides are square because it's going to hurt you in the long run. And if you're a little bit short, it's not going to hurt you. If it's not exactly 12 inches, it'll be all right. It'll still look good. All right, and now we cut the rest. And now we got all of our pieces. Now we can go to the table saw and rip them down to 1.5 inches so we can get our pieces together. Now to the table saw, where we're going to take all of our pieces, which I have over here on my table, and I'm going to run them through my table saw and get them all 1.5 inches. So I'm going to make sure it's put at 1.5 inches. Lock it down. So y'all, you see me just at the table saw. I ripped everything down. Something happened with my phone, and you can see I'm not wearing the same sweatshirt, and it cut off. So I'm going to show you what I did and where I am at now at this process. I'll show you everything, my cuts and angles and everything, and then we'll get to assembling. So I cut my 12-inch baseboard and I sanded and stained, which I use for the stain. You can pick whatever, but I used the dark walnut. This is what it would look like if you use dark walnut. Here is a 12-inch, and this is going to be one of your tops. So when you're doing this, you're going to cut 22.5 sides. I'll just start at the very bottom piece. This is both at 22.5, both sides. So you're going to come over to your 22.5 and take it like that. Then you're going to bring your board over, line it up. You're going to bring your saw down right on the corner, right here on this corner, and you're just going to chop it right off, straight down. Then you're going to take your board and flip it exactly over. This is my 45, but you're going to take it over and do the same. Don't turn it, anything like that. You're just going to take it and flip it exactly over and line it up with the very corner of your 12-inch. Then you'll cut it. So that's what you're going to do. I'll grab my 21-inch piece and show you exactly what I'm talking about. You're just going to take it, go boom, flip it 180 degrees over, and do the same, boom. And you're going to do that to your 4 12-inch pieces are going to need the 22.5 along with your 21. Then your 14 inch piece and your other 12-inch piece, you're only going to do one side of the 22.5, and then the opposite side you're going to go over to 45 and cut a 45, and I'll show you why here in a second. You can move this guy out of the way. Now we're going to start on our bottom, and you're going to start with your 21-inch piece, which that's going to be your base. And you're going to want your ends, your long ends down and your narrow ends facing up. So I'm going to be building this way with my tree. Then you're going to take your 12-inch pieces and you're going to line it straight together on both sides. And I'm going to pull mine to the edge of the table because it's just easier for me to do that way. And then this is where the screwing comes in. I have a bit which you can get at any local hardware store. It sinks a hole into the wood. I'm going to find center, and I'm going to drill a hole enough to get the head of a screw in there, and then I'm going to take my drill bit and I'm going to run the hole straight through. Then with doing this, it prevents the cracking of the wood. You won't split the wood, and it makes it a lot easier for the screw to go in, and you won't be fighting the screw. Be sure you're lined up as best as you can. If you need to, get down level with it. Make everything flush, and then get around center. Find about center of this board and about center of your bottom board, and just drill a hole and start. And I know it's not perfect and it might look a little high, but, and this is kind of hard to see, but this is be your hole that you're gonna have. I might go a little deeper, but that'll be a good starting hole. And then you come back with your drill and go center that hole. And you're going to go through into your 12-inch piece. And with these, I'm using 12.5 inch. They're technically deck screws, but whatever you can get. And I'm using 2.5. And then you're left with a nice, just right inside hole. Or right in the screw. I might go a little bit deeper, so when I use my wood putty, it forms in a little bit better. And now we're going to do that on the opposite side. That is done. Screw in the hole nice and tight, and pretty good. So now where we are going to go is go to your next step. It's another tier. Now you can do it anyway, but so I am going to go down 2 inches from this corner, and you can mark it. I'm just going to mark enough for me to see, because I am going to sand this back down and then put another coat on it just to make sure it's good. And then you're going to take your next 2 and you're going to line the corner the corner up, this bottom corner up with your mark, which is right there. And yes, I know this is sticking up. I'm going to have to release this screw. This screw is making it pop up, so I'm going to have to release it a little bit. But then you're going to do the same with that. And this is where it gets tricky, because once you line these up, you're going to want to take your hole. What I do is I go from the inside. I'm going to take and drill some holes on the inside. I'm going to take 2 screws. I'm going to do 2 holes, one on the bottom side and one on top, and I'm going to go into this piece here. So we're going to do the same thing and get these 2. And just like that, 2 holes on both sides. And I decided to do 2 holes down here too. It gives that extra strength, and you can't go wrong with an extra screw in there, because sometimes this will probably want to twist on you, and you get that extra screw in there, it'll give it an extra bond. So this is where these come into play. These are your 12 and your 14 that has the 45. This is going to be your top. So I want to put the 14 on the left side and the 12 on the right. You're gonna have to pull it a little bit, and I don't have this exact right now, but when it pulls together, you're gonna have that bond right there. Which, once I get this put together, so your piece is going to look like that. And that'll be your top of your tree. 45, 45. The 12-inch 45 goes right into the inside of the 14-inch piece, and it makes one continuously seamed line. Now we're going to mark our 2 inches again on both edge, and then we're going to line up and drill from the inside. no, my battery died. So my battery ended up dying, so I ended up switching to my drill. And I thought I was recording this, but I wasn't. So I ended up switching to my drill. And if you're using a drill, your screws are going to go in flush, which is no big deal. And now I'm going to repeat another hole on the bottom, and then I'm going to bring in my 12-inch piece to come up and meet. And then I'll show you how I put those together. And just like that is done, I did both screws on each side, and now here it comes. Now with this part, you're going to need to use some force, but you're going to bring this up and it will come right together. And what you should have is pretty much a seam together that is pretty spot on. Now this is where it gets tricky. You can either go from this side or this side, doesn't matter, but you need to put these two together. With mine, I usually go off the 14-inch side, just a lot easier. So that's what I'm going to do, which I'll show you here. This is what one that is started but not finished. I still got to paint it and stain it and whatnot, but I did 2 screws right on top. So we will do that right now. If you want to, while you're doing this, come and mark 2 places on this side where you'd want to put your screws at. That'll give you a template so you don't have to hold it. You can just use your pilot your hole, and then you can go and use your drill bit, run your bit through, and then you can run 2 screws, or you can do 1 screw at a time, whichever you please. You also probably could use a clamp and get a clamp on here and do it that way also. All right, now there you go. There you go. There's that part. Now it's time for your base. So what I do with my base is I pretty much just stick it up on there. And then I'm just going to get equal measurements on each side. So I want I want equal measurements from this corner to here and this corner to here. So four and a half. I couldn't do that better if I even tried. So I'll mark my right on the bottom so I know it's there. And you could also transfer those lines to the sides here. All right, now you're going to get the equal lengths on both sides for on your widths. All right, now with a little help of scrap, I'm going to take screws and screw on the bottom side of here. So you're not seeing any of the screws from the top. That'll help you without, so you don't have to fill extra hole on this side. You can just bring it to the bottom and go there instead of having something like that. And there you got Christmas tree stand for your front porch, inside, whatever. You can take a wreath, put a wreath on it, put some lights on it, whatever you want, how you like to decorate it. But that is how you make a simple, easy tree for decoration out of scrap. I know I'm not the best at videoing. I'm still learning, but doing stuff like this, it helps me, just keeps me busy, and I like doing stuff like this. So if you'd like to see more content like this, leave a comment below, and maybe something that you might have found that you might want me to do. So that's how you make a Christmas tree out of scrap lumber. 24 or to 12 to 24 inch pieces of lumber that you might have laying around in your shed and you might have to use someday, or in your garage. And you said, I might need that someday. Well, right there is a good start to your tree that you can make, because you could get half of your pieces just out of a 2-foot piece. So guys, thank you for watching. If you haven't, please go like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching.